Greg, when reading a financial statement is revenue and net income, di ba?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
income
Or
statement.
a balance sheet is liabilities and assets.
Yeah.
Okay. What should a reader look for, or an investor look for?
You know, there's in the past what they say was important was the balance sheet because that was the value of the company, assets, liabilities. And then sometime 20 years ago, what became very important was earnings. So you look at, because price earnings ratios, that's how you value shares, now multiples of earnings. But now, what is very important is cash. So you look at cash flow. Is the company making money in spite of, because companies can be making profits but not making money.
That's why you created the so-called EBITDA concept.
Yeah. Cash is king. In the end,
So
it's cash.
basically, EBITDA is earnings before interest,
And
taxes,
depreciation. Yes. So that's really cash profit. That now is very clearly important. In times of crisis, you have to have cash. Cash is king.
So everybody is cash-oriented.
Yeah. In fact, that's what anybody who asks me how to read financial statements, look at cash flow.
Cash flow.
If the company is making good cash,
Do you have certain benchmarks or ratios?
oh, of course, ratios are always
Manufacturing
going to be
company.
there.
How
Because
much
you also
cash
do
must it take?
research for investors also.
Yes, quite a bit. Reading,
Yeah,
of course, assisting them in reading financial statements, helping projections and valuations of company. But it's really now cash-based.
Tapos,
Cash
Greg,
based.
meron pa nakikita, meron ng net income, meron pang comprehensive income.
Yeah.
Ano, bagong ek-ek yun. Ano ibig
Well,
sabihin?
because of the fair value accounting. So most of the fair value accounting are just values because either assets value increase or decrease. And that's not, I don't want to say that's not really profit, but it's temporary.
Now, what's the difference between net income and
So net
comprehensive
income is your core net income coming from your pure operations.
Operating
And most of the comprehensive income, for instance, appraisal. What comes out of appraisal? What comes out of financial
Appraisal
instruments?
surplus, you mean?
Yes. What comes out of, let's say you have marketable securities, di ba, up and down yan every day. That should not really go to core income unless you sold it. But the valuation lang, that up and down, dun muna sa other
So,
comprehensive income.
kung may appraisal surplus ka, it goes to surplus? Surplus funds?
Yes, yung
Capital surplus?
It's a separate
The
line
entire
there.
thing goes
It's a
to
separate
capital
line.
surplus?
Yes.
If it
The
goes to
appraisal
capital
increment.
surplus, under the rules, you have to declare it as a cash or stock dividend.
No, you cannot, because that's considered as unrealized. It's just appraisal.
Unrealized.
Unrealized, you cannot declare unrealized income. Even the
You
SEC
cannot
wants you to
draw
tell.
money from a figment of the imagination.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because the SEC is very clear on that. You have to, may reconciliation that they require. Ano ba talaga yung net income
So,
mo?
pwede lang applyan ng dividend, stock or cash, yung net income.
Net operating income.
So going back to governance though, Greg, what are some of the things that you think that needs to be put in place for companies that are publicly listed?
As regards governance, are companies better regulated today? Are regulations more stringent today than they were, say, 10?
Certainly very stringent. The
Very
regulations
stringent.
are very, very stringent. But as, again, I go back to that Corporate Governance Watch study in 2010, where we are also ranked a bit high on regulation requirements. But where we failed, 15%, I think, out of a maximum of 80, is in enforcement.
Enforcement? You mean
The
SEC?
regulations are there,
You mean
but
SEC,
enforcement.
central bank? Or
Everybody is in the regulators. The failure to look at SEC, what kind of funding do they have? How much people can they really, thousands of financial statements, who really looks at that? How do you know it's violating? Everybody is violating.
And yet there's
It's
so
very
many
difficult.
requirements.
And yeah, so many, because at least the data is there.
Yeah.
But the issue is, even the BIR, this is what we call now data mining. We don't have the facility or the IT system to mine all those data. It could be done very quickly. But that's where we fail, is in the enforcement. We have good laws, we have good regulations, our corporate governance practices are first world class, but enforcement is where we fail.
meron pang requirement ng SEC, you rate yourself as far as
Yes, that's
governance
right.
is concerned.
Oh, they're self-rating.
Some people rate themselves very highly.
Of course.
Some people are very modest about themselves.
Of course. That's why you need somebody else to take a look at that. But could the
nobody
government afford
interprets
that?
them. Nobody interprets them.
But could the government afford that? As of now, this group, the ICD, tries to take a
Institute
look
of
at
Corporate
that.
Directors.
Tries to do that.
Yan yung grupo ni Justice Stanislao.
Yes, they try to do that to a certain extent, but still, there's not enough funding, not enough
Saka
people.
kailan pa nauso yung you have to have at least 2 independent directors?
Oh, that was as early as I think the code was adopted in 2002. And in fact, now they're trying to revise that. Now, this Maharlika board, which was postponed to 2012, wanted 30%.
What is a Maharlika board?
The Maharlika board is patterned after the Novo Mercado of Brazil, It's supposed to have higher corporate governance standards, more independent directors, more transparency, more disclosure to the PSE. But I guess with the crisis now, that has been postponed. But it would have been ideal because the rules, our current rules says 2 independent directors or 20% of the directors, whichever is less, not whichever is more, whichever is less. So this Mahardika board is supposed to be 30%.
So 1/3 of the directors
Could
should
be independent.
independent.
In the Western countries, the trend is 75%.
Ano ba legal definition ng independent?
That you do not have more than 2% of the shares of the company. It used to be 10. It has been downgraded to 2. No business relationships, not related by birth,
Hindi
affinity,
kung kumpare mo,
consanguinity.
paano yun?
Alin?
Dependent ba yun?
Depend, you know,
Kasi alam ko,
in
marami
definition.
akong alam yung independent director, kumpare ng president,
But
chairman,
that's
CEO.
why the definition for in accounting,
Hindi kasama
independence is a state of mind. Because you could be husband and wife, but you could be independent from each other. You could argue a lot.
You believe that?
Yeah. You
Usually
could be.
there's a husband and wife.
Yeah,
The
you
wife is
could
the
be.
superior one.
Of course.
Yeah.
Dito sa atin, that I fully agree with. That I fully
So
agree
is that
with.
the same reasoning for the independence if you're doing the audit, the tax, for the same company?
Yes, that's also one of the rules that you cannot do. There's a lot of things you cannot do with the company. You cannot have business relationship with them. I cannot.
You cannot have a contract with them.
Yes,
Supply contract or
I
whatever,
cannot.
no?
Or if one of my relatives, close
Yeah.
relatives, work for them, I have to disclose that, and you have to put certain safeguards or Chinese wall
then
to make sure that does not
Then the
interfere.
independent director will be the chairman of what committee? Compensation?
Compensation,
Audit.
audit, governance.
Governance.
Usually these are the things. Risk management.
So
But
matrabaho
audit is
pala
definitely.
yung independent director.
It could be very, very.
But there are very few independent directors.
Because it's very difficult. People don't want to accept it because of the responsibility. You could get sued. And how much do you pay?
You could get sued?
Yeah,
I
how
thought
much do you
you
pay?
get the pay of the regular director. Kung 10 million kayo lahat.
Sometimes it's just purely per diem.
Kung GOCC, jackpot ka.
Not now, because there's a new
Not
law.
anymore.
That's around 40,000 na lang maximum you could get a month.
Pag director ka ng GOCC, even if
Now, though, that's
even if
under
the
the new law.
GOCC is a listed company,
Yes, under the new law. There's graduation, but very
sino
limited.
pa ang gusto mag-director ng 40,000 tapos madidemanda ng milyon-milyon?
Well, if you're not doing anything, you're retired, and you want to do something, you're still of clear mind.
Pwede lang siguro yan if I have legal insurance. Pag na-demanda ako, the company must sustain me.
Is that available?
During
Well,
the
That's available
so that in the last, I think, 5 years, even the monetary board is insured for this what they call
So independent
directors.
directors are insured?
You should require that you should be insured.
Kasi the Jobo
For
Fernandez
afterwards.
case, hindi siya insured
At that time,
Kawawa
there's no
yung
such
family.
thing. There's no such thing, Lance, as directors and officers insurance.
Gabi Singson, insured ba siya?
I think the BSP only got this a few years ago. In the past, I have to be very honest with you. In the past, it was very difficult to get directors and officers insurance in the Philippines.
Difficult to get.
Very difficult. Only when we started these good governance practices, that insurance companies started taking on
Who
insurance
pays for
coverage.
your insurance? The company in
The
which you are
company
a
pays
board
for it.
member.
Yes, that you should require that if you are an independent director.
So the behavior of our companies is world class, the standards are world class, and the quality of management is world class.
Well, Filipinos are known everywhere to be world class.
Yeah. Well, Filipinos are running enterprises in Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, even Cambodia.
Very
Nandun na
much
sila.
respected. We're
They
very
open
much
stock
respected
exchanges of
elsewhere.
other countries.
Very much
And yet, our only stock exchange is lacking in complete corporate governance. They're
Well, not
always
to say
quarreling.
lang. That's why they're trying to improve on this.
Trying to improve.
This director, brokerage, ownership rules. That's why the SEC is trying to impose this. And it will happen at some point in time. There's, of course, resistance. Everybody resists change at some point, but it will happen.
Okay, we're going to continue this discussion. We're speaking with Greg Navarro. We'll be right back.